Well, Whitney Leavitt went viral for smirking when Jen Affleck got eliminated from Dancing with the Stars. She could have just apologized. Instead, she went on Call Her Daddy podcast and said something that actually made the whole situation worse. I'm going to break down exactly what Whitney said about that smile, the receipts Jen already dropped about their friendship, and the one accusation Whitney made that completely flipped the narrative from oops, bad timing to wait, they actually hate each other. Hey, this is Fady. Welcome to the Fady Show. Let's jump in. So, if you haven't been following this, here's the quick version. Whitney Leavitt and Jen Affleck are both on Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. They both got cast on Dancing with the Stars season 34. When Jen got eliminated on Halloween night, cameras caught Whitney briefly smiling before covering her mouth. The internet went insane. People called her fake, mean-spirited, and celebrating her friend's loss. Whitney stayed quiet for weeks, then she finally addressed it on Call Her Daddy podcast. And what she said, it did not clear anything up. It actually revealed way more drama than anyone knew existed. Because this isn't just about a smile, it's about who had the dream first, who copied who, and whether Whitney threw Jen under the bus when she needed support the most. Jen had said on season 3 of the show, the minute there's an opportunity, you say you always wanted it. Basically calling Whitney a copycat who only auditioned for DWTS because Jen did first. And here's what makes that claim hit different. So according to Jen, she's been telling Whitney since the day they met that Dancing with the Stars was her dream, one of her biggest dreams. On their Hulu show, Jen said it's frustrating because the minute Whitney sees there's an opportunity, suddenly she has always wanted it too. So when they both got cast, Jen felt like Whitney stole her moment. And Whitney's response on Call Her Daddy podcast, I only auditioned because she did. That's wild. She laughed it off, said, I always wanted to be a part of this show. I think everybody can have the same dream and everyone can have the same goals. On the surface, that sounds reasonable. Two people can want the same thing, right? But here's what people are pointing out in the comments. If Jen had been talking about this dream for years and Whitney never mentioned it until Jen got the opportunity, that's a pattern. And based on what Jen said on the show, this isn't the first time Whitney's done this. One person commented, Whitney is the type to see you succeed, and suddenly she's been planning the same thing all along. Another said, the way she laughed when Alex brought it up tells you everything. Okay, let's get to that infamous smirk, the moment that started all this. So Alex Cooper asked Whitney about it directly, showed her the clip, asked her what was going through her head. Whitney's first defense, she said she thought she was getting eliminated every single Tuesday. That was when she mentally prepared herself for it every week, so when Jen's name was called instead of hers, she felt two emotions, relief that she wasn't going home, but also sad that her friend was leaving. She even said, I don't even remember smiling, but if she did smile, it was just relief, nothing to do with Jen specifically. Here's the problem with that explanation. We all watched the video. She smiled, then immediately covered her mouth like she realized she got caught. If it was just relief, why cover your mouth? Why that specific reaction? People in the comments aren't buying it either. One person said, relief doesn't require you to cover your mouth, girl. Another pointed out, you can see the exact moment she realized the camera was on her. Whitney told Alex that there was no excitement whatsoever about Jen going home, that there is never excitement when anybody gets eliminated. But then she said something else, something that actually explained more than that smile. She said it sucked that Jen went on Instagram Live after that elimination and said she wasn't going to vote for Whitney. And that's where things get messy because Whitney is not upset about the smile controversy. She's upset that Jen did not support her publicly. Okay, real talk. Do you think Whitney's explanation made sense, or did it sound like someone who got caught and was scrambling? Let me know in the comments because opinions are split on this one. And if you're still watching, hit that like button. This drama has more layers than we thought. Whitney tried to explain the smile, but then she dropped this bombshell about Jen not supporting her, and that's when we learned what's really going on. After Jen got eliminated on October 28, she went on Instagram Live with her dance partner Jen. People asked who she was voting for now that she was out of the competition. Jen said she was rooting for Robert Irwin and Annie Richter. Then she added, I would be rooting for a former Mom Talk person, But we won't get into it. Very clearly, she was talking about Whitney and very clearly saying she wasn't going to support her. Whitney told Alex Cooper that this is what really hurt. She said Jen understands what it is like being on the public eye, being on reality space, getting the hate. Then she said it did not feel great that she fed into that she decided to go on a live say, yeah, I'm not going to vote for her. She could have just said who she was voting for. She did not need to say who she wasn't voting for. And there it is. Whitney is not defensive about the smile because she feels guilty. She is defensive because she thinks Jen threw her under the bus first. In Whitney's mind, she was trying to be supportive. She told People magazine right after Jen's elimination, "It sucks because all of us worked so hard. She worked so hard. I loved her dance tonight." Meanwhile, Jen went on live and said she wouldn't vote for Whitney. But here's what Whitney is missing. Jen told E! News earlier in November, there's no relationship. Unfortunately, some things happened, so we have just taken a step back. She tried to keep the drama of Dancing with the Stars because it was both of their dreams. But moments keep happening where it was hard for the tension not to bleed into the show. Whitney confirmed on Call Her Daddy podcast that their relationship is not great right now. She said, "I don't really know if there's one right now." She admitted there was a lot that happened while we were doing Dancing with the Stars. Feelings were hurt on both sides and there wasn't a mutual understanding. But then she said, "But I can tell you what I didn't do. I did not go online and say I'm not supporting you and I'm not rooting for you." Here's the thing, season 3 of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives dropped on Hulu and it shows exactly why they are not friends anymore. Jen said on the show, "I'm really conflicted with my relationship with Whitney because a couple of months ago, she really was the only person there for me during the lowest point of my life. But the minute I left Mom Talk, I never heard from her." She continued, "She became best friends with Timmy, the only person who was bullying me during that time." So from Jen's perspective, Whitney abandoned her when she needed support, then got close with the person who was actively bullying her. Jen said, "I definitely think Whitney is only here for herself and her own opportunities, and that our friendship within the group were actually never real or genuine to her." Both Whitney and Jen said fans would have to wait for season 3 to understand what happened. Well, season 3 aired and it backed up what Jen's been saying. Whitney was there for Jen during her lowest moment, then disappeared when Jen left Mom Talk, then became friends with Jen's bully. So when people ask, why would Jen not support Whitney on DWTS? That's why. Because from Jen's perspective, Whitney already showed where her loyalties were. So before we wrap this up, make sure you're subscribed because this drama is definitely not over. Season 4 is already filmed and apparently there's even more that went down during their time on Dancing with the Stars.